All right, women docs, let's talk about 5 reasons why you might feel stuck at work. Not seeing the options, just not seeing it. Okay, there's 5 reasons. We got this. Ready? Hit like and subscribe if you like tips. Because, in medical school, we just don't learn about how to build career skill building strategies once we graduate from residency or fellowship. It's like, how do you keep life interesting and learn how to navigate being a professional once you finish your residency or your fellowship? Because we're used to learning. We learned for a lot of years, but we just don't learn how to be professional or how to keep growing as a professional. I'm not sure why we don't, but we don't. So I like to cover that in my YouTube channel here called Brain Fresh Today. And it's for women docs who are feeling like isolated, stuck, feel like the meaning of work is dwindling, not sure what's important to you right now. I got you. So just watch this channel. You can like and subscribe and you'll get some regular just I do monthly challenges. I have a membership for Women Docs. So come on in. We'll learn together and get supported together because learning is when we feel vital. So we don't want to feel like everything's exactly the same and everything's completely comfortable. We want to always be learning. Okay, so let's go. So mind-blowing clarity of why we might feel stuck. We went through a lot of school, a lot of school, right? We know EQ, we know IQ, but there's something called AQ, and that's adaptability quotient. Adaptability quotient. What are we talking about? We're talking about moving quickly, learning, undoing, leaving some old learnings behind, staying agile, moving through change. The workplace is changing, AI is changing things. How are we going to stay up with it? Well, there's something called adaptability quotient. So we have to increase our AQ so that we don't have this sense that we feel stuck and isolated and that work just, it's hard to find the meaning day to day. Okay, so when do we know it might be time for a change? Well, you might just feel like, ooh, I would love a fresh start. I would love, just something new to do during the day. Or this is driving me nuts. I feel isolated. I'm working only all day. I put my, nose to the grindstone and I'm just working hard all day. I don't even look up to talk to anyone. You don't eat. In medicine, we learn not to eat or go to the bathroom or sleep. So we really get disconnected from our physical selves. We just learn not to listen to them. And they're giving us clues all the time. So it is important to listen to our physical selves. I love to talk about the neuroscience of work and joy and how can we even find joy as a professional? Because there are neuroscience hidden strategies we can do. They're out there. We just don't talk about them enough. So that's why I like to share them with you. So isolation, I saw a young doc the other day. She was just a couple years out of residency and she was like, I didn't realize it'd be so lonely. She was used to always having a team of residents around when she was on call or during the day. And she was like, as a staff, it's just kind of lonely. There's competition, right? So that's another reason it might be time to change is that you realize like you might not be getting that promotion or you might not be getting on that certain committee you want to get on, that there's other people that, of course, we're in competition with. And are we relevant? As we hit a certain age, you say, "Oh, like, are we relevant anymore? Are we staying fresh? Are we learning? Are we adapting to the latest? And then how do we even design our lives for adaptability? So beautiful news is there are ways. We know there are researchers who have figured this out. We don't have to figure it out ourselves. And that's the other problem is that most of the time people like go figure out how to be a happy doctor that's well rested and bright and cheery. And people are like, I don't see many of those. I don't know how to even where to start. And so it's time to just share our resources, right? And that's what I like to do with neuroscience is just share it, make it understandable in bite-sized pieces. So we have to, number one, have a vision. We have to know where we want to go. What is important to us now? If we feel isolated, maybe it's important to build your connections because I hope so, because that is really important to our life feeling fulfilling. Do we have a strategy to get there? So if we know we want to, make more connections, I want to mentor, I want to sponsor, I want to, get on a committee. But what's our strategy to have that, to get there? So we might be here, we want to go here. What's our strategy and who's going to help us get there? What's our approach? How are we going to try a little something to get started? And then we're going to look at it like, did it work? That's called iterating, right? And it's okay to iterate in your career building, your career skill building. It's okay to try something and maybe change a little bit, try something else. So visioning is important. Everyone's too tired and too busy to take time to do this. That's what I see with the docs that I coach. I coach women docs one-on-one. And so many of them are like, I don't even know what's important. They got a coach because they're like, life is flying by. And I don't even know, like, their kids are in middle school or, they're hitting a certain age and they're like, am I doing what I want? Like, is this what's important to me? I see a lot of needs in the community and in their, in their teams and things. And they want to be impactful. Like, how do you start? So that's what we go over, just those little steps. How do we do it? Number one, you have to envision, you have to take time. Where do you want to go? How do you know you're not happy? Because if you don't know what you do want, a lot of times we know what we don't want, but we don't know what we do want. That happened to my husband and I. We were new empty nesters. We said, like, what do you want to do? Like, we have time, we can do what we want. And we looked at each other like, oh my gosh, I don't know, because we haven't been able to choose in so long. We just were doing all the kid activities. So we had to like take time and think about it and try stuff. We had to iterate, right? Um, there are reasons we don't want to change, though. So I love this book by Dr. Susan David. It's I'm blanking on the name, but anyway, it's look up Susan David. She's a PhD psychologist, and she has a wonderful book that walked. Oh, look up her TED Talk. You'll find it there. Susan David TED Talk. Wonderful because she talks about the 5 reasons we don't want to change and to think about these 5 things when we set a goal, we made a plan, but we're not doing it. We're just like brakes are on, we're just not moving forward. What are they? So, what are we going to lose when we change? So, there's probably maybe you're going to lose time, maybe you're going to lose your confidence because maybe you're going to lose your pride a little bit because you're going to be new at something. So, what are you losing when you make a change? Um, what freedom might you also be losing? That might be freedom of time, freedom of, like working with the new team. You don't have to deal with another team. And number 3 is safety. So, whenever we try something, it doesn't feel good to be a newbie at it again, right? So, you're going to lose your safety of being in a comfort zone. It's not the perfect place, the comfort zone. I mean, the comfort zone's okay for a while, but we all have to be learning to feel vital, to feel like alive, right? And so we want to feel alive. We don't want to feel like stuck and isolated, like things don't matter. Number 4 is status. When we're new at something, we go down in status, right? Like we're probably, if you're a surgeon, your status is up here. You're the chairman, you're the chairwoman, your status is up here. You try something new, you're new again. You're the newbie. Like I went to a writing class lately and I almost didn't walk in because I was like, what am I doing? Why should I do this? And then someone's like, don't you have a blog? And haven't you written like, I don't know, 50 manuscripts or been on them at least and written part of them? And they just kept like reminding me, didn't you edit a book? And I was like, yeah, I did. She's like, you're a writer. I was like, yeah, that's true. But even if I wasn't, like I can be new at something, right? And this was different kind of writing. So it was okay to be new. It was uncomfortable. There were feelings, there were thoughts, and there were feelings. Okay. Number 5 is belonging. So going into that group, I say, well, I'm a doctor. Why am I in a room with writers? Um, what the heck? Right. And so who am I to say, like, I can now hang out with writers? Who am I to say, like, I can now hang out with women that are starting a business? Well, I did, and I do, because it's again that whole thing. Like, if you're here, but you want to get here, you need people along the way, your growth team, your accelerator team. I call it my WAG team, my women accountability group. Like, who's helping me get where I want to go to the ideal self? Okay, so we need that. So those things we really have to think about when we make a plan, but we don't follow through. Okay, I need to do that myself. Okay. And then we need to challenge ourselves a little bit in our adaptability. Like, in what ways might we change X? In what ways might we surprisingly change X? Use some positive words so that we're more excited about the change, right? Who will be helped if we go ahead with that projects? And so I do that a lot with my business. I help women docs. And when I work with women docs and I see them, like start new things and build workshops for other women docs or go coach this person or that person. I just like they're doing amazing things and I'm glad to be a little teeny part of it. I'm kind of like their trampoline, like, oh, you can do it. And so again, like how are we going to enhance change? We're going to have to take time to envision where do we want to go? Like I said, we're really good at what we don't want, but what do we want? Put that in the comments. What do we want? Just a big question mark in the comment. That's a lot of times a problem. We just haven't even figured out what we do want. We just know what we don't want. And that's okay. There's still hope. We do that in my coaching one-on-one, or you can journal and just keep writing about it. And then we have to decide what are the priorities, which one's most important if you have a lot of ideas. What would it mean? What's the value of it? What would happen if you completed that? And then a roadmap like A to B to C to D to get you to your ideal place, right? We're here, we're trying to go here. What are the steps you have to take to get there? Now, when I coach women docs, like I just coached a surgeon, we talked about crossing a river, and every little step was like a little stone where she felt comfortable putting her foot and crossing the river because it seems huge, right? And so we just take little steps, make them real small so they feel safe because I'm not crossing a river unless I have a lot of steps to step on, a lot of stones. And we also have to be careful with our expectations. It's not going to be perfect. We will likely have to iterate. We'll have to change a little bit. We're going to try something, look at the data, how'd it go, and change something. When we're talking about building career skills, we're not talking about patients, caring for patients where we can't change things on our own. We need to go through the right channels if we're going to change a patient protocol. We're talking about our own career skills, career building skills. We can try things. It's probably not going to tank our career to try one new thing. And if so, if you think it might, then get a coach or map out, make your roadmap and like what could happen? What are the thoughts you're having about it? Because that's the other thing is what if you took some steps? What could wow, your people? Like if you're trying to do something in your community, what would wow them? What works now? Like what could be even more amazing? So we have to build our career building skills, our adaptability skills. So these are parts of it. These are, if you want to think of them like Lego blocks, how are your communication skills? What culture are you working in? How do you influence the culture that you're working in? What connections do you have? Is there anyone you need in your accountability group? Who could you collaborate with? And who could you keep learning with? Because that makes it really way more fun. How are you going to focus on this? Where are you going to find the time? So there's something called time studies. You can go through like your calendar and say like, what can I get rid of? Can I find 10 hours a week? Can I get rid of my laundry? Other people doing your laundry isn't that expensive, believe it or not, especially if you take it somewhere. But that could free up maybe 3 hours. What if someone was willing to do the dishes after dinner and in your household so that you would have, that's like 45 minutes just cleaning up the kitchen after dinner, an hour. So there we got 4 hours. So you keep looking for opportunities. And how do you focus? How do you engage with the problem? How do you learn more about it? What actions can you take? And then how are you going to set up a schedule to execute? Because we can talk all day long, but until we start taking small actions, our brain's not going to start learning, right? We really have to physically do something to get that long-term potentiation really going, right? So, and we can have these statements ready. It's like, I notice I feel hesitant when I'm about ready to plan, your latest strategy. Think about it. Go back to those 5 things. Are you going to have a loss of something? Are you going to feel less free? Do you feel safe? Like there's probably some emotions. What's your status when you're doing this? Are you new again? Do you find support in your team? Do you belong on your team? So these are things that might be leading to some hesitation with change. Um, when I think of that change, it's going to lead to what? Like fill in the blanks here. Like imagine, just see it like a play unfolding. Like you did X, Y, and Z. You came up with your goal and you hit it, and the community now has a community center, or like what's going to happen now with the project you're thinking of. So we always want to have like to think of watch our thoughts, put a little space in between. Oh yeah, I'm feeling this thought or this emotion when I think of this project. Just put a little space, a little emotional assessment in there. And that's okay. Think of it like the weather, like clouds going by. It's like, oh yeah, yeah. When I think of that, I feel those emotions. That's okay. Change will bring emotions. So building our agility quotient, It's not easy, but we know when to do it. We talked about that. We now know about the emotional resistance that we feel with change and how to deal with that. We know how to design for change because we talked about the vision, the strategy, the approach, and iterating. We know how to challenge it. Watch your words, use exciting, positive words like, I'm going to surprisingly change X. This person will be helped. This group will be helped by this project. So, and watch the emotions and change that it's like, oh, yeah, yeah, that feels scary or feels uncertain. It's causing me to hesitate and go back to those five things, those emotional resistance thoughts. Okay. So feel free to like and subscribe so you have this come into your YouTube regularly so that you can keep career building as a busy doc. Okay. Because it doesn't feel fun to feel, isolated, lonely, distracted. So that's what we work on in Brain Fresh. We work on focus and building support so you can change the world. Okay, so like and subscribe, please. I would appreciate that. And put in the comments, what you appreciated on this one, the best learning, your next steps you're gonna do, what you're gonna change. Because I believe in you. I know you can do it. And feel free to check out my Fresh Path MD. That's for women docs, a private community where we learn together because it feels there's emotions with learning, right? So we do it together in a fun, compassionate way, and we do monthly challenges where we just keep learning and growing together. Okay, you got this. And thanks for your attention. I appreciate you guys, and thanks for all you do in healthcare. I mean, it's really an amazing, amazing, career. And think of what you do day to day. I appreciate you.